Esther Wilson, and welcome to another episode of Tell Me Something Good. Today I'm here with 2024 TCU quarterback commit Hauss Hejny. So Hauss, I know you received a lot of attention from other colleges. What made you choose TCU?
So going through this recruiting process, I kept in mind who was there from the beginning and who was, recruiting me early on. And going back to my parents, both my parents played sports at TCU and they're student athletes. So I've grown up around Fort Worth my whole life. It's a place that makes me feel at home because I'm so comfortable being at TCU. That definitely went heavily into my consideration to TCU. And Coach Browse and the rest of the offensive coaching staff made me feel like they wanted me to be their future quarterback. That's always been my dream to play for TCU. So for me to be able to live that dream out, why steer away from that when God's put something in front of you that you've dreamed of your whole life?
What are you most looking forward to about playing at the D1 level?
Just the high level of competition and the amount of eyes that are on you, and just being an influence to younger kids. When you're a kid, you're always looking on TV at the guys, and you're like, no way I can be like those guys one day. They're after game interviews, and you're like, those guys are so cool and humble and just respectful. They're just normal dudes. So, being able to influence younger kids and just give back to my community and use my platform to just be a good person. Football is obviously the greatest thing, but have my college paid for, to play the game that I love and get an education out of it. It's just a blessing to be able to do that. So yeah.
And especially to stay close to home.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention
that.
Being close to home is definitely special because I got two younger brothers and I want to be able to go see their Pee Wee football games and their baseball games and just be around family whenever I can. Most of my family's around here.
When did you know that you were going to focus on football?
Growing up, my dad believed in, you got to be a versatile athlete, and to do that, you got to play all the sports. So I grew up playing football, baseball, and basketball, and later on in high school track. But when I got to about 7th grade, I was like, football has always been my true passion. I played all these other sports because they were fun. I enjoyed the game perspective of it, but the practice part I really didn't enjoy. But when I got to about 7th grade is when I really started realizing that I love every part of the work that gets put into football. The training sessions, the working out, just football in general. It's just been my passion, and I love the game so much.
Did you ever play any other positions, or have you always been a quarterback?
I played one other position. Well, I played 3 other positions actually. I played running back in kindergarten and 1st grade, and then after that I got moved to quarterback in 2nd grade, and I stuck with that ever since. And then I also played on the defensive side of the ball. I played linebacker in Pee Wee, I played safety, and then middle school I played safety. So I played about 3 positions on the field. Oh, and then sophomore year I played receiver here at Aledo.
Oh,
but yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy receiver?
Yeah, receiver was fun. It gave me a different perspective because I've been a quarterback for most of my life, and it's a workout, and it gets your legs in shape, and it gives you some empathy for the receivers, because being a quarterback, you're like, all right, come on, receivers, like you can't be that tired. But starting fall camp, I was like, this is a grind.
Tell me about your family and your siblings.
My dad's he's from all around. His dad was in the military, and he grew up in Nevada, Hawaii, a little bit of Minnesota, a little bit of California. So he ended up playing football at Butte College and then transferred to TCU for 2 years, and that's where he met my mom. My mom's from Cisco, Texas, which is about an hour and a half west of here, and she ran track and played basketball at Cisco, and then ended up doing both of those at TCU. And both my parents met in study hall one day. My mom slipped her number to my dad's little study hall desk, and then after that's when everything started. They started dating, and that's when they had me when they were in college. My mom was 20, my dad was 21, I think. And I remember going to classes with them. I don't remember it, but this is what they tell me. I went to classes with them, and I grew up in the TCU training room, stuff like that. And yeah, we're a sports-oriented family, always doing sports. Both my little brothers, Bo is playing football and baseball and basketball, doing that sort of thing. Jed, on the other hand, we're still trying to get him, into the sports world. So he played baseball for the first time last year. 2 years ago is when he started baseball, and then he's gotten into flag football.
What do you think is the best way that they have prepared you for the path of D1 football?
Both my parents coming from, athlete backgrounds and playing at the Division I level, they grew up and, learned from their parents, from the parenting perspective, and, they knew what it takes to get your kid to that level. Really what it comes down to is just their amount of love and care for me, and, wanting to give me the best opportunities they could for me to chase my dreams and support me to the best of their ability, which they have done. So, really the part is keeping my life simple, which simple is kind of hard to, control in a kid's life who just wants to do this and do that, and is very easily like distracted and just wants to do what feels good right now. So they've really kept my focus narrow-minded, goal-oriented, but also having fun at the same time. They want to make sure that I have fun and love what I do, but they're gonna let me know when I do right and when I do wrong, and when I messed up, and they're gonna discipline me for that in a good way and a loving way, and they let me know that they still love me and they care for me.
Growing up with a crazy busy life, what is the one place that you think of where you find just rest? It could be beach or mountains or anywhere that you think of.
So most people would probably answer the beach or the mountains as like their vacation spot to like go and decompress, but for me growing up, being at my grandparents' house was always just a place of just simplicity and just, hanging out and relaxing and, watching old Western movies. And, the past couple years as I've gotten older, playing cards. I just enjoy playing card games starting at like 10:30, and we'll go till sometimes 1 in the morning, depending on if nobody's won yet, playing spades and stuff like that, Just being around my grandpa when he lets loose a little bit and has some fun, and my Mimi, I feel like it's kind of keeping them young a little bit. So,
who would you say who has been your biggest mentor?
My biggest mentor throughout my whole entire football career has been my dad. He's been there every step of the way and has guided me every step of the way. Not necessarily from a quarterback X's and O's perspective, but just from a leadership perspective as a whole, and just being a football player and trusting your instincts and always doing the right thing and to know your why. He's really helped me along my path of knowing my why and why I play this game and who I'm doing it for, which is for the glory of God. And he always keeps that in perspective for me. Don't forget, like I said, why you're playing this game and who you're doing it for. And then throughout this quarterback journey the past few years, it's been Joe Dickinson. He's been doing it a long time and worked with many guys, and he has a lot of experience just mentoring quarterbacks, and he's been there for me in the good times and the bad times. And he keeps a steady demeanor about himself, which helps me out and helps me to stay calm and just trust in the process. And quarterback's a position where there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. You're going to get all the criticism when your team does bad, and you're going to get all the glory when they do good. So he just keeps me level-headed and helps me out in a lot of ways.
Growing up, you've played football and many other sports. What has been your favorite sports memory yet?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Growing up Pee Wee and Alito, winning a lot of Super Bowls and stuff like that. But I would say this past year, my junior year, starting off 0-2 kind of, put a damper on us. But, we continue to work and trust the process and trust in each other. So to be able to come out of last season and win 14 straight games and win a state championship was, a dream that I've dreamed about since I was, in first grade, sitting in those stands right over there, just being with your best friends and hanging out with them and just enjoying being a kid before, real life starts.
Yeah. What is your biggest struggle that you've encountered?
The main thing for me has really been belief in myself and trying to keep the pressure off myself just from outside people looking in. I've always been a really good athlete, and growing up in Alito, everyone knew like I was a good athlete and a good football player, but to continue to live up to those expectations throughout my football career, that's been the main thing, and just continue to believe that God has written my story, and it's my job to just trust in his plan for me sometimes.
Graduating this semester in December, what is your biggest goal that you've set for yourself for all at TCU, but also after TCU?
Really just to have a fresh slate at TCU and start off on the right foot academically, and obviously I want to grow as a man throughout TCU, and there's always room for growth in every area of life, and I want to grow as a football player too, but I know there's life after football. So I want to make sure I get the education and learn as much as I can about myself as a person, and just make good friends and connections throughout my time at TCU. And obviously I want to have success on the football field. That's my main goal. I mean, that's why I'm going to TCU, obviously, to play football. But yeah, I want to win the starting quarterback job at some point, and hopefully lead TCU to a national championship. That's the main goal. But after TCU, I just want to be able to, flourish without football, because that's been my main thing throughout my life is, I've had success with football, and, I've handled my academics, but, I want to make sure to hone in on that extra when I get to TCU, and just, make sure that I can set myself up for life after TCU by just being a good person and, like I said, trusting God's plan for me, and everything happens for reasons.
This podcast is called Tell Me Something Good, and it's centered around interviewing D1 high school committed athletes. So Hauss, tell me something good that's been going on in life right now, and it does not have to be football related.
Really just enjoying my last summer at home before being a grown adult, enjoying the good times with friends before, we're all separated on our own paths, just enjoying this last few moments with my family at home and with my brothers, just enjoying being a kid again, just enjoying being a kid still. But yeah, that's really the main thing is, like, I've worked my whole life, be at this position to be, know where I'm going to school on scholarship, going into my senior year. Right, really at this point, I got nothing to worry about other than just focus on enjoying high school this last 6 months, because I'm graduating early to go to TCU. So that's really something that's been good for me, and is just being able to relax and just enjoy these last few moments. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me on Tell Me Something Good, and thank you for allowing me to come to Aledo. This is great, but I hope that you have a great rest of your semester.
Of course, thank you for letting me share my story.